Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hallmark Guy Podcast. I'm Baptiste, the Hallmark Guy, and I am back with a brand new episode where this time we're gonna be recapping and reviewing a Grand Ole Opry Christmas, which premiered on Saturday, November 29th, 2025 at 8/7 Central on the Hallmark Channel as part of Merry Thanksgiving weekend. It was the second movie of the Saturday double feature, and it was their big movie of the year. It was the big event of the year. Every year there's always one that has like the special like promo packages design and that they promote a lot. I mean, they had all these events in September or beginning probably early October actually um, in Nashville to promote Countdown to Christmas, and that was kind of um, because A Grand Ole Opry Christmas is their big movie of the year. It has a huge cast. Like I said, it has the special promo packages like A Biltmore Christmas had um, last year, 2 years ago, sorry. That was their big movie of 2023. The Chips one last year was the big movie. Um, I guess the Bills one still had the special promo packages, but it premiered the time the Chiefs one premiered last year. I mean, the Thanksgiving movie is always the big one. Sometimes it's a Saturday, sometimes it's a Sunday. It used to be the Candace Cameron Bure slot. It had become the Lacey Chabert slot. Now she moved to next week, to December 6th, this week actually, when I'm releasing this. But yeah, last year was the Chiefs movie was the whole big thing. This year it was the Grand Ole Opry. It starred Nikita Loach, Christopher Polaha, Rob Mays, Luke Benward. We're excited to see a Disney Channel person on Hallmark Channel. Eliza Hayes Maher, Sharon Lawrence, Denton, and country stars made cameos. We had Brad Paisley, Megan Maroney, Jamie Johnson, Tiger Lily Gold, Rhett Atkins, Mickey Guyton, Drew Baldridge, Pam Tillis, Riders in the Sky, and so many more, as well as a cameo from Aaron Cahill. Kind of a preview. I have not a preview of anything, but like I'll be leading that time slot in 24 hours since she had the Sunday at 8/7 Central movie. So let's get straight into the movie. Gentry, played by Nikita Loach, is Jet Wade's daughter from the famous duo Winters and Wade, who performed often at the Grand Ole Opry. She is a manager slash waitress, and everyone is wondering why her dad quit playing music, and she does not know. Her dad has passed away, and Gentry has been invited to the Opry for their 100th birthday Christmas special to represent Winters and Wade with the other member of the duo, Vaughn, but she has not responded yet. Mac is a country music manager who has been back in Nashville for a few years now and wants to sign an up and coming artist named Rowdy, and played by Drew Baldridge. And he and Gentry have been friends for years, like since high school, and he keeps telling her he should represent her. Rita, Rita is Jet's cousin, and she takes Gentry and Mac on an Opry tour for Mac to learn about the history of country music to win Rowdy over. Vaughn is at the Opry, and Gentry tells him that she has always wanted to be a writer, and it has not happened yet, and she feels like she deserves to be to have the opportunity to sing in the circle at the Opry, the circle on the stage. She doesn't feel like she's worthy of the circle yet. And Vaughn tells her there is still time for her dreams to come true and tells her that Opry magic might make it possible for her songs to be heard. When she sits in the pews that are on the stage, she is transported back in time and sees her dad on stage at the Opry. It is only for a few seconds, and she's brought back to present time. She tells Mac, but he thinks she hit her head. Then she goes back to the Opry to try to time travel again, and she tries to sneak in, and the security guard runs after her, but once she hits the pews, she disappears, and she's transported back in time again to 1995 exactly. Earlier, Rita had given her in present time had given her an RPM record label brooch for good luck. So when she meets 1995 Rita, who at the time was an associate producer of talent at the Opry, at first, she tells her she has to leave, but Rhea tells her, "You need to leave. You cannot be backstage." But once she sees her brooch, she thinks she's with the label and lets her in. And Gentry tells her that her name is Jenny McCall. I'm letting you guys know it's going to be confusing because I'm going to refer to her sometimes as Gentry, sometimes as Jenny, depending on who's she interacting with in the movie. It'll make sense, hopefully. Mac, back in present time, Mac talks to the security guard, sits down in the pews, and also gets transported back in time. And he is reunited with Gentry. Gentry tells him that 1995 was the last Winters and Wade show at the Opry for the Christmas before they split, and she might be able to learn why they split. She tells Mac he needs to go back, but he does not want to leave her behind, so he's staying. Mac tells Rita that his name is Mac McCall, and she believes he is Jenny's husband or brother. They say no, oh no, no, and she said, I thought so. There's a vibe. Like there's no was for brother. I said, I thought so. I'm trying to do southern accent so bad. I thought so. If I can make a sentence, I thought so. There's a vibe. So they're pretending to be husband and wife. They tell Rita they don't have a place to stay, so Rita invites them to stay with her. Rita asks them if they have always been in love, and Mac kind of confesses his love. Gentry tells Mac that she plans on staying there to see her dad and maybe talk to him, and Mac says he will distract Rita. Gentry sees her dad on stage and introduces herself as Jenny from RPM, and he thinks that she is here to talk about the last two unsuccessful Winters and Waited albums, but he reassures her that everything is good in the duo and that new songs are coming in February. So at the time, they were not planning on breaking up, and even though they did. So Gentry wonders if they traveled to an alternative timeline where the duo stays together, but Max says that they did travel for a reason and that their goal must be to find out what happened and see if there is something they can do. At the Opry Christmas Market fan event, which was filmed at the Kansas City Arabia Steamboat Museum, we'll talk about that later. A lot to say about that. Um, Lenny, a guy from the label, probably, I don't think we ever hear exactly what his role is, but he talks to Vaughn about the plan for the duo to reach studios. But Vaughn says they both have to agree, meaning him and Jet. And the man, like, I wrote the man because I didn't know his name until a long time. And Lenny says that Jet will agree because he will present it with finesse. Vaughn asks him to not talk about this at the label Christmas party that night, to which he invites Jenny in case the guy is not Lenny is not that fancy. At the party, Jet argues with Lenny because he wants to hire writers when Jet has always been the one writing the songs, and Vaughn did the music. He asks Vaughn if he agrees, and he says that he wants to be a bigger name, and that might be the way. Lenny asks Jenny if she agrees, and Jet thinks that she is here to make him agree to step down as songwriter, and he is disappointed in her. Jenny tells Vaughn she will try to talk to Jet. He tells her that he has Jet tells her that he has nothing against songwriters writing for other artists, but he prides himself in singing his own songs. Rita asks if everything is all right between Jet and Gentry's mom, Alice, and he says that they are. They just left early for vacation, and he will join them to spend time with them. And she tells him that if he does not make it right with Jenny, he'll have a lot of time. So he goes apologize. Gentry remembers writing a song, winning a songwriting award at summer camp, and she is wondering where that girl went, and says that being rejected over and over hurt her, and that it is why she stopped. But Mac tells her that persistence is just as important as talent. She tells him she found a song she had not finished, and that she wishes she could have shared it and finished it with her dad. Mac asks her to sing it and says she should finish it. Meanwhile, Jet is in the background and hears the song. At another fan event, Jet apologizes to Jenny and tells her that if his record deal was over, it would solve a lot of problems and create some. But he tells her that if they are hiring writers, maybe they should hire her. He asks her why she never finished the song, and she tells him that her dad died before they got a chance. So he asks if that is what made her quit writing, and she says it's one of the reasons. He invites her to come to the Opry to talk about the song. Gentry tells Mac that all she dreamed growing up was to be a duo with her dad, and she is happy to see him again. Mac says it still does not make any sense why they're there, but he is grateful for the opportunity. They kind of have a moment, but he cuts it short and goes to bed. The next day, Gentry, or Jenny, depending who she's talking to, shows up at the Opry, and Jed gives her his famous guitar Gigi to play her song. She continues to write the song with him, and Mac films the whole thing because his phone works. There's something about his phone that doesn't. There's something that doesn't work, but his phone, like, he can still film with it. Vaughn hears the song and says that he wants to hire Jenny. Lenny shows up and Jenny leaves, but before she goes, Jed tells her that she is really good. Lenny brings the schedule to record the new album that is moved up 2 months for the world tour, but Vaughn tells him that Alice and Gentry will be fine. It's just another tour. But Jet says it's a bigger one and he needs to be at Gentry's summer songwriting camp. Plus, he needs to join them in Gatlinburg for Christmas and the New Year so he cannot record on December 26th. Lenny tells him that this is more important and he needs to cancel his plans. Jet asks him what will happen if it does not, and tells him that he needs to decide what he wants to do about the Opry Christmas special. Either it will be followed by the duo's next step, or it will be followed by Vaughn's solo career. Jet leaves. The next day, Rita gets a phone call and is made aware that Jet never made it to the final rehearsal and they don't know where he is. Jenny says she knows where he is and will talk to him. She and Mac find him and he tells her he does not want to go on a tour for 9 months because he has already missed so much with his daughter. She tells him she will understand, but he is not sure he will. Mac asks if he was able to go forward in the future, which decision would he regret not making? And Mac tells him that for him it was not inviting his neighbor Gentry to the winter fall, and she went with the guy who ended up being her ex-husband. Jed asks if it is Jenny, and it is. She says that they have lost a lot of time though, and that they can get that back. Jet asks Jenny about her dad being able to see her win the songwriting award and asks her what would have happened if he had not been able to be there. And she tells him that her dad was away a lot for work, but he made a decision that allowed him to be there a lot more, and that was important to her. He tells her that as a label rep, she's supposed to convince him to stick with his career, but she tells him that as someone who lost her dad while she was a teenager, she knows how important moments together are. He thanks her and leaves. Jenny asks Mac about the story about the girl Mac had a crush on. He tells her that it was always her, and she tells him that if he would have asked, she would have said yes back in the day. And they kiss. They then leave for the Opry to see if Jet makes it for the performance. At the Opry, Vaughn asks to speak with Jenny and tells her he knows she's not a record label executive and or rep, I don't know if they're the same thing, and thinks that she's a songwriter looking for a break. He tells her he likes her song and tells her he wants to hire her, but just for himself. She tells Mac that even though it is all she ever wanted, she can't stay in 1995. And Mac says, "You can, we can." She tells him he cannot stay because of his family, but he wants to stay because it took them too long to get together, and he wants her to realize her dreams. Jed shows up for the show and tells Vaughn he does not want to do a stadium headlining tour. He wants to write songs and be there with his family for his family. And he basically says it will be the last performance and they will keep it to themselves while they separate it. No one will ever know. While on stage, Jet needs a guitar pick. Mac brings him one, but he's pushed around by people and falls in one of the pews, bringing him back to 2025. And when he tries to go back, it does not work. While back in the present, he sees Rowdy, who says he looks forward to working with him. After the performance, Jed gives Jenny his guitar and tells her that she's very talented. He asks her if her dad was a good dad, and she tells him he was the best. He hopes his daughter will think of him that way. She tells him she will, and they hug. In 2025, Vaughn is invited on stage at the Opry, and Gentry reappears right at this moment holding her dad's guitar. Vaughn says that he has watched her grow up, and her dad was really proud of her, and he helped her write a great Christmas song, and he invites her to step into the circle, and she's ready to do it. She tells the audience she hesitated to come because she did not believe in herself as a songwriter. But being here, she remembers that it is much bigger than that, and that music is the gift, and that if you can write from the place of honesty and love, you have found your voice. It is a dream come true to stand in the circle because she gets to honor where she comes from, and she's finally believing in where she is going. Vaughn says that Brad Paisley will sing her song as a tribute to Winters and Wade. Gentry hesitates for the performance. She hesitates to sing in the pews, but when she does, she stays in the present. During the performance, she sees flashback of Jet getting to Gatlinburg for Christmas. So he made it after they separated. Gentry asks Vaughn how, and he tells her that how, like they tells us how did this all happen, and she tells her that Opry magic and Christmas magic are a powerful force, and it's time they meet about her songwriting, and that time she will be there, and she gives Vaughn her dad's guitar as a promise. She'll get it back at the meeting. Gentry promises Rita she will tell her everything, um, and gives her back her brooch, telling her it brought her everything. Mac tells her he thought he lost her forever, and they kiss, and Rita says, "It's about time." Mac shows Gentry the video of her singing with her dad and tells her he tried to go back, but it didn't work. And she tells him that the Opry thought they did what they needed to do. That's why they didn't have to go back. He tells her he would have stayed with her, and she tells him she loves him for that and so many more things for so long. He tells her he cannot remember a moment when he didn't love her and apologizes that it took so long to say it. Now they both know, and all it took was them traveling back in time 30 years and a little Christmas magic. They kiss, and it starts snowing, and that was a Grand Ole Opry Christmas, not extended cut. They have an extended cut on Hallmark Plus that I haven't watched yet. Like I said, huge movie for Hallmark, the Christmas movie of the year. Um, in my opinion, when we're looking at story and star wise, we have multiple Christmas movie of the year, especially one coming out this weekend with Andrew and Lacey. That's like Christmas royalty. But that's not what we're talking about now. It was their big event of the year. They released like a collaboration of Christmas decorations with the Opry in the Hallmark stores and all that. So it was a big movie, and it was a really great movie. It was a really great movie. I had a really great time. Of course, I was sold on the pairing at first. I love Nikki Loach. I She did a French movie. I'm from France. She did a French movie like probably 14 years ago now. Um, that took place in Hollywood and they needed an American in it. And that movie is probably a cult classic in France now. So I'm always really excited when we get a Nikki Loach movie because my family and I we watched the movie multiple times. We've seen it in theater and we really like it. And it's like it's fun to have that kind of story. Like she was in a French movie, and I was reminding them that's the lady from Hollywood. The movie was called Hollywood without the D. Um, so yeah, any Nikki Loach, and then even without that, she's a Hallmark like superstar. She's a Hallmark favorite. I watch every Hallmark movie, but I'm really excited for a Nikki Loach movie. And Christopher Polaha has become also just a Hallmark staple. It's royalty. Last year it was Christopher Polaha and Lacey Chabert, and I said it's Hallmark royalty. It's again Hallmark royalty this year. Nikki Loach, Christopher Polaha, come on, you can't go wrong with that. And I love country music. So, and I've been to the Opry, so it was so special to see Nashville, where I spent three days, and it was such a great time. And I went to an Opry show. And something really fun about the movie is that in the movie, Megan Maroney performs at the Opry, and she invites on stage her friend Jamie Johnson to sing with her. Well, the night I went to the Opry, Megan Maroney was singing and invited Jamie Johnson on stage to sing with her. So I was so happy to see that. It was so like a little nod to a really good time that I had when I did a road trip. And I was like, how crazy it is that the movie about the Opry kind of have the same schedule of when I went. Riders in the Sky, you only see their back, but they were at the Opry. When I went at the Opry, they also performed. So all these connections to the time, my time to the Opry made it so special. And again, I love the Opry, I love country music, so I was sold from the start. I like that it was a Grand Ole Opry Christmas and it was shot in at the Grand Ole Opry. They're not pretending to build the Grand Ole Opry in Vancouver. I like that, even though not everything was filmed in Nashville. We have that what they call like Opry Christmas market. Let me just pull up. I need to find it in my notes again. Like kind of Opry Christmas market. It's the Opry Christmas market fan event. We see that scene. Like first, it started like from high, like a high camera angle in a room, and I'm like, that place looks familiar, but I was thinking of another place. And then I see a big wheel from a boat, like wooden wheel. I'm like, it's Kansas City, isn't it? Like I've been there multiple times. I was there this summer, and I go on Twitter X, and I look up. I just wrote right because I didn't watch the movie live. I watched it delayed. I have recorded it, and I said I just typed Opry Christmas or something in Kansas City, and there was an article about the movie filming in Kansas City in September, and I was like, why did I know that? Why did I know? Did I not know that? I was I live in the Kansas City area. How did I not know that they were filming a Hallmark movie? Well, apparently they kept it a big secret, but I'm like, I should have been one of the background people on this. I was like, that that's so cool that they filmed here, but like, why wasn't I there? Like meeting the actors, seeing how they filmed. But if I could have been on it, like would have been great. But I was like, come on, there's such a missed opportunity. Last year when I got to Kansas City, I got here I think 2 weeks after they wrapped the Chiefs movie, so I missed that opportunity, and I had that because what's funny is that a few days before I saw an article about how the film industry grew in Kansas City this year, and they were talking about Hallmark, and I said, well, the Chiefs movie was from last year, so that doesn't count. But it's because there was another one that we didn't know. Why did they film in Kansas City? I don't know. Clearly, they filmed other scenes. To me, that's the only scene I recognize to be filmed in Kansas City. Maybe I just missed them. Maybe they're in the extended cut. I don't know. But yeah, why did they come here? I don't know. But I was like, that's so cool. And at the same time, like, why wasn't I there? Why didn't I know that? Like, come on. I sent it to my family because we've been to that place. I was like, look where they're filming. And my mom was like, how you, like the Hallmark guy, the TV guy, you know all the behind the scenes stuff all the time. How didn't you know that? I was like, I don't know. I was there in September, and then I was thinking back, like I was in class and all that, and they were just like a few miles away, filming that movie, and a movie that's about country music that I love. So yeah, so I was like, come on, that's so cool. But I wish I would have been there. Hopefully, there will be more movies filmed in Kansas City. Back to other things of the movie. So Rowdy is played by Drew Baldridge, and he sings a song everyone knows is Drew Baldridge, which is somebody's daughter. So I found that funny. Um, well, first I wrote so Gentry when they take the tour of the Opry, she doesn't want to step in the circle. You know, the circle is a sacred place at the Opry, and I'm like, we all do it. I toured the Opry basically after the show's over, or even before. I think they have tours. Mine was after the show, and they just clear the stage and like project, and you just step in this circle. You get your picture taken. I'll put the picture on the screen. I had short hair for that. And it's like, come on, we all do it. And then I realized it's really sacred for her because it's her career. She wants to be ready to be worthy of it. But so that that I know that didn't change. Um, One thing we see Nashville from above at some point with snow like on the ground on the roof and on the ground, and then we see a street shot with no snow, like and the same like continually. It's we don't care about pointing it out, and but you can see it was filmed in the summer. One thing that was weird though, Mac is walking down Broadway at night, and it's really dark, and I'm thinking I'm not in production, so I don't know how they do that, but like there's a chance they filmed it during the day and they just put like a filter on the screen. It looked really, really dark. And I've been to Broadway at night. It's lit up. Like so So I don't I don't know how they did that. But like that's funny because that's not how Broadway is at night. Maybe it was too bright and they put that filter. I don't know. Um, One thing they say, they talk a lot about rehearsal at the Opry. One thing I remember from my tour, that was 2 years ago, so I could be wrong. I think they rehearse one, but they don't really rehearse. I could be wrong, could be totally wrong. Like they're doing a lot of rehearsal for a show that I remember they told us they don't really rehearse, but maybe I'm wrong. Um, they um, Rita says to Mac in 1995 that the Opry was a radio show at first, and he says, "Oh yeah, I learned that during the tour." And she's like, "What?" So apparently they weren't doing tour in 1995. I would have thought they would, but apparently they weren't, or just for the purpose of the movie. I don't know. Um, and what I'm wondering, big question I have is how they shoot the 1995 Opry scenes. I think that the stage one is easy. You just change the backdrop, and I think that they have that backdrop somewhere. But like the dressing room and like they have this big thing at the Opry. They have a room where like all the performers can hang out before they go on stage or after, so they don't stay in the dressing room and they're just like all together. Was it on a stunt stage? Like how did they do that? Because I don't think they just changed the appearance of the Opry. I don't think they could do that, or they was even the best option. So I'm wondering how they did that. But overall, great movie. I would say though, let's call it a Grand Ole Opry Christmas. I would have liked a little more Opry. Opry was the center theme. Like there was basically all leading to that Christmas Opry show. But I was like, I would have liked more Opry. It's a lot of Nashville, which is great, but a little more Opry. And the story is great. This is an amazing story, but a little more in the present. I guess like if you take the Opry out of it, done, 5 stars. I would have liked a little more Opry and a little more present time, maybe. So that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. But I will say stellar performances. Yeah, 4. I will say stellar performances from the cast. Like I said before, Nikki Loach, I'll watch everything. Christopher Polaha, same thing. You know what you're getting when you're getting those two on the screen. It's quality. And then just a stellar cast around them. I will give a huge shout out to Eliza Hayes Maher. She is a comedic genius. For the Nashville accent, the Tennessee accent, amazing. And she has some subtle comedy in it that were so clever and so well played that I loved it. I discovered her on Hall Out the Holly, where she was also really funny. She has done funny things for Hallmark. She is great. I think it's time we see her as a leading lady on Hallmark, though. I think she's leading lady material, and I'm excited to see her. But again, stellar performance by the whole cast, and a huge shout out to her because she made me laugh the whole movie. And I thought the Tennessee accent, the 1995 performance was stellar from her. And it was also so great to see all these country people. Just a movie that celebrated country music. I love that. Film in Nashville, film at the Opry. I love that. I'll take a sequel, whatever. I don't think there's a sequel where you can do a sequel to that story, but I'll take another one. I loved it. So that is it for a Grand Ole Opry Christmas. Thank you for watching that episode. Thank you for watching the podcast in general. I have an Instagram account. The link will be in the description. It's just the Hallmark Guy Podcast. Follow me there for clips, for just Instagram exclusives, like some reels about stuff. I haven't done any yet, but they'll come. And just also anything Hallmark. Right now, I'm posting a lot about the Hallmark Christmas experience. I have tickets to 2 panels this weekend, so I'm not just going to be outside taking pictures with whoever I can. I'll be inside seeing events, so you'll also get videos and pictures from that. So follow me on there. Follow me there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.